Why, hello, peasantry and worker underclass. It is I, Captain Slappy, the non-communist who hates the commie pinkos and the fascistes, and also the capitalist. Let's face it, that's not better either. So, anyway, uh, today's talk, today's TED Talk will be over the history of pro wrestling in you, from outside the fishbowl of everybody that lives in the fishbowl, claiming, giving each other handy J's, and telling each other how great they are. And let's just skip past the dime store huckster and horseshit of that stuff and say, yes, thank you, everyone. I was right again. Ryback was right again, So let me point out, Vince McMahon catching a search warrant, going to catch charges, Just saying. What were the odds that I called it? Okay, as they should call it, because it's been 50 fucking years of nothing but criminal enterprise. A wannabe mobster meets Vince McMahon. He's going to be known as Vince the Mincemeat McMahon soon enough. So, anyway, let me go down to saying, WWE doesn't pay my bills. I'm not a fucking stooge and a mark. I like business stuff. I like psychological operations. I like fucking up and fucking over criminals and criminal enterprises. One could say I've gotten somewhat mildly effective at it. Mildly. I'll give myself that much. Not moderately. I don't have enough billions in revenue gotten back. Maybe after WWE goes down, I can then claim to have had some impact on human society when it comes to criminal enterprises. Okay? Maybe. Anyway, the point is, let's face it, there's no defense for Vince. All right? He's a fuckhead. His heyday was 1980s Hulk Hogan. And it was criminal, the shit that he did to get there. And I don't mean Hulk Hogan, I mean Vince. And ever after that, it's just been a downhill slide of criminal activity. Now, since I'm not a fucking idiot, a stooge, a mark, and all that shit, and since these people do not pay my bills, you just like some of you get the rare opportunity to stand outside at the edge of the universe and go, okay, I dig that you really think this guy's a genius. He's a complete fucking moron, and he's fucking thrashed the industry. Basic common sense shit, no, that's not what Vince wants to do. But the only thing I ever hear is how much money people made, not how many crimes were committed to make that money. See, it's always, well, I got my cut, so, it was great. Vince is a great genius guy. Really? So breaking all kinds of interstate and intrastate laws and international law, that's okay. Fucking destroying people's lives is okay as long as you got your cut. Now, some of you may point out that actors and stuff like this are mentally deficient. Okay, and I'm not going to disagree with you when you consider the drug industry in pro wrestling. And you're not exactly drawing in the smartest motherfuckers that ever existed. Okay? To be fair, there were and still are just normal kids that come and go or watch wrestling, go into wrestling going, all right, this is going to be great. And then someone like Vince McMahon destroys their fucking lives. Okay? For a cheap paycheck. He don't give a fuck. Okay? Now you would say, well, that's the way of the world. And it is. That is the way of the world. But, entropy always comes. Alright? The law don't never stop. The machine's got to eat. And the machine loves revenue. And so the machine is going to get its fucking revenue. Now, you might think money is revenue. Well, there's more than one way to skin that cat. And I think, after having called all of this, unlike, thank you very much, every single pro wrestling expert and pro wrestler that supposedly are geniuses. They know this shit inside and out. I blew all of that out of the water. Never listen to a criminal when a criminal tells you that it's okay to do a crime. Never listen to a fucking moron that's never done anything successful except make a paycheck try to explain to you how not having a real job and doing this shit, well, that makes up for all the crimes. That's me being a dickhead. That's also unfair to certain wrestlers, which I'm going to get to. This is the first time in history, probably, okay, that you're going to see actual discussion on, yeah, no, that's not going to fly anymore. All that shit's criminal. You know, there's a lot of this criminal shit going on. Let's just go ahead and get rid of these people because this is an actual business. It's a profit-based thing. You know, what if, let's blow people's minds, we don't have a scumbag like Vince doing that? What if we had actual people that gave a fuck about the industry and the workers, right? What I keep hearing is, man, it sure is great having Hitler running pro wrestling. Hey, man, it's sure fucking great to have Joseph Stalin running the gulag of wrestling. You know, because I got my cut. Fuck the other guys. And you're like, yeah, there you go. That's Team America capitalism for you right there. Fuck everybody else. I mean, I know you ruined all those people's fucking... You scammed them out of money to get them in wrestling for the rubes and the marks they are. Then you fucked them over, destroyed their bodies, and you dump them on the fucking side of the road. That is Vince McMahon. That is the people that back Vince McMahon. Don't ever forget that shit. Now, I do get to say, one of the very, 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 very few people that ever whipped Vince's ass, run around the circuit talking about it, and said, fuck you, I don't want nothing else to do with none of y'all, and went to go actually accomplish stuff. Jesse Ventura. But there again, Jesse went into wrestling at the perfect time not to be warped and fucked up by it. He had already done... Well, I know what he says about not being in country in Vietnam, but yeah, I imagine there's some classified shit going on there with Jesse. The point was, Jesse did Vietnam. Jesse did actual hard, real work, real human work. So by the time he got into wrestling, it was like, this ain't shit. All right. Okay, so if you blow out the nepotism and the handy jays, the dick sucking, all this other weird shit that wrestling is, along with dope and drugs and just fucking garbage and trash that for whatever reason some people find fascinating, I have to point out that, again, the Reaper always comes. I mean, you got your bumper crop. You know, it's time to pay. You got to pay your taxes. All right? And the world does not require WWE. Wrestling existed before it. It will exist after that. It doesn't need any of y'all people in it either. I'm just going to tell you, the reality is the world and history does not require you. It's going to happen no matter what. Okay, so let's be clear. You're not that fucking special, but you got to run if you're a wrestler. You got to run. You had your fun. Good for you. You don't pay my fucking bills. All right? And just because you want to cover up criminal activity, I'm not interested in. Because the bullshit that you do, the highly illegal shit that you do, the shit that fucks up actual kids coming out of high school trying to go get a job doing it, yeah, how about we fix that? Because trust me, like I said, the world don't need you. The world don't need none of you. It needs somebody to run it that knows what the fuck they're doing. And it's obviously none of y'all. Okay, yeah, I can know that because wrestling is fucking dead. It has been dead for 2 decades, at least. And I'm going to get into something here, and it's going to piss some people off. Now, I don't give a fuck. Again, you do not pay my bills. Let me start out with Jim Cornette, Brian Last. They work great together. They're fucking good at what they do. I love the commercials and stuff. Jim knows how to tell a story. That's true. His gimmick is Jim Cornette. Straight up. I'm absolutely agree. It is. That's what people do out here. That's what pro wrestlers do. Goddamn, people are dumb. They're just fucking idiots. Your customer base isn't stupid in wrestling. However, when you got complete fucking morons like Vince that run it, they degrade the customer base into fucking morons. I'm going to get to Vince Russo on that because this should be common sense on business shit. I'm going to leave out Bischoff. Totally going to leave him out because none of this shit applies to him. You'll say, what? Well, that's not fair. No. That's a different business thing. All right? So we're setting him off. It does not count with him. Okay? But some of it does apply to him. Vince forced nationalized, strong-armed, all your regionals, and they ended up being with Vince. Vince became national. He's just a cheap fucking wannabe Dana White, and Dana White's a cheap wannabe Al Capone. I mean, you want to talk about criminal activity and criminal networks that are interstate and interstate? Dana, Endeavor, we can talk about that. Why, I'm sure getting some kids in to fuck their lives up in a ring, punch kicking, like it's a real fucking job. Give me a fucking break, right? I mean, this is the cream of humanity? You're fucking joking. Just get the fuck out of here with that, right? You are not creating the atom bomb. You are not doing jack shit. You are entertaining people, and that is important. If, let's say, I was running the United States Corporation and I was part of the CIA media empire, you're fucking right. I would sit there and go, I wonder what we could do with wrestling. Yep, absolutely. Makes sense. It's efficient, effective. It's good on your pocketbook. You know what I mean? It's just easy, simple shit. People are already doing it. You can walk right in and go, aha, this is what I want. So, Vince had his fun back in the day with Hulk Hogan. That was the peak of wrestling, and it's never going to come again. Such things as VCRs and technology come through. Nobody gives a fuck about wrestling. You buying botnet view counts, or the KGB doing their shit, or Mossad or one of the others doing operations, is not the same as having real humans watch your shit. Okay? So, let me point that out very, very clearly, that you fluffing the numbers, the artificial GDP of fucking online numbers, and the real world by charging 3 times as much for half as much is not the same as actual crowds in the fucking seats. Okay? Just because you charge $50,000 to show up doesn't mean you're worth $50,000, and you will not save wrestling. You do not have that much stroke. You can work with others and do that, though. Now, that is not pointed at Matt Hardy. That is pointed at other people that talk big shit as if they have actually accomplished something. I'll tell you what, kids, when you can do my shit, then we'll talk about how hard it is for you to do your shit. Okay? And you are not going to touch that level. Okay? So, you can go fuck yourself when it comes to that. So, back to Jim Cornette and Brian Last. They work great together. That's a fucking gimmick. They start shit. It kind of keeps wrestling alive. There are not enough humans watching that shit or giving a shit about it to make you any money. Not what, chump change? Cornette makes his chump change money off of action figures. I get it. That's business. That's the point of him going into business, is to make money. I got it. Jim Cornette is also a couple of things. I got to point this out. And he's an example, okay? He's just an example, one of millions. He is not special in this regard. Nobody actually is. He worked from the bottom up. He made his money. He also helped collapse wrestling. And people don't want to talk about this shit. He loves to take credit for running the flagpole up, running it up the flagpole. He loves that shit. Why wouldn't you? That's a sales pitch about how this one time I rode around in the woods with the Von Erichs or some shit. I don't give a 2 fucks about the Von Erichs. You get my point, right? It is money. I can't sneeze at the work Cornette did. Okay? It's not easy doing that shit. You are a carny barker. He is a carny through and through, and he's damn good at it. Okay? Ain't nobody going to... I tell people this shit when they bag on Cornette. You can take away the bullshit from him that he don't own, but you can't take away from him what he does. And he does have a spot in, I guess you'd say, wrestling history in those regards. He also has a top tier spot in helping to collapse it. Okay? Now, again, nobody wants to talk about basic common sense shit because they live in a mentally deficient bubble. I mean, where they believe their own bullshit, or they're attempting to at least not explain to you the real world part of it, which is we don't have any crowds because dickhead did this. All right. And I always love listening to old burnout dope head wrestlers explain to you how oh man, this is how the fucking the real wrestling is, and they don't do that shit. There has been a couple of people, Matt Hardy's been one of them, that'll come out and say, hey, this is the way this works. And you go, hot damn, yay, go Matt Hardy. Ryback comes out, yay, finally, some education. You know why? I got a question. If you have actual real world marks, and everybody's a mark for something, I mean, that's the consumer society you've lived in since the early 1900s, or pre-1900s, actually. Then it's important to remember, I mean, that's the shit that you got to use to keep everything running. Now, jump back to Jim Cornette. He helped run everything up the flagpole, and then he likes to talk about it, but he doesn't like to talk about all the businesses he collapsed because he couldn't run them for shit. Wasn't any good at it. All right. Oh, promotion this, promotion that. They fucked him, and he'll tell you he's a victim always, every time. He's the victim. Nobody. Nope. Everybody was out to fuck Jim. Jim was never out to fuck nobody else. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. All right. Sure. That's the world we live in now, I guess. Here's the most important part of that. Well, yeah, most important part of it. You cannot, I gotta keep stressing this, you cannot buy, ever, in a 5-gallon bucket at Walmart, what Jim Cornette knows. You can't. You just can't. It's not. I mean, Walmart, look at how big Walmart is. This is about the fairest I'm ever going to be on it. There is no possible way Walmart understands people better than Jim Cornette. That is true. The fascination of Jim Cornette is he knew wrestling was dead 20 some odd years ago. And I guarantee he'll lie about this too. I guarantee he'll lie about this. Knew the shit was fucking dead. Not only did he know it was dead, he jumped on the fuck pro wrestling bandwagon. You can see it on YouTube. You can see the whole fucking deal. Sold a shitload of VHS and DVDs over that shit. Oh, fuck this guy. Oh, fuck that guy. No, you'll call it a shoot, a work, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. The whole point is, that's exactly how I know wrestling collapsed. Wrestling was good, people wouldn't be out there doing that shit. You would still have the YouTuber people, but why as talent would you be engaging in that shit? That's peanut money. What, 50 people give you $10 and you're a bad motherfucker on the internet, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, he correctly saw the curve, and it was all downhill, at least for a while. You know, you can't quite predict everything, but you can get real fucking close. And so, the trough, you can look through history, dump the propaganda, the carny bullshit. It's dead in the water, and it's been dead for a long fucking time, okay? Now, if you want to claim international stuff, good for you. I don't make money off of it. I am not impressed with those numbers, okay? That there are literally 3 Chinese guys running illegal marijuana operations that make more money than all of you combined. In what, 6 months? And I'm supposed to be impressed because you flew to Germany and did a theater match with someone? No, I'm not impressed. Okay, I'm not. There are more illegal weapons that come in and go out of here than the shit that you people do in 5 years, and they do it in a week. So again, impressed? I am not. I am not impressed. Impress me when you do that shit, okay? And wrestling has not been doing that since the 1980s. All right, it went up and it went down, and that's the dangers of putting the capstone on a pyramid. Vince wanted to be, the big man, and now, adios. What the fuck did you think was going to happen to that? Did you think Vince is something? No, he's obviously not a genius any more than these others when you destroy the industry that you're in. Well, I was just making a place for wrestlers, and no, you were literally fucking hookers and blowing through company money on dope and all kinds of illegal shit. It had nothing to do with fucking wrestling. Had everything to do with you being a fucking idiot. Now, back to Cornette on that. I'm sure we'll never hear any talk about that type of shit with Cornette, but gee, I guess other people will talk about it. Point was not that. The point was peaks and troughs. Cornette has talked about the bad times. Well, what the fuck makes you think it ain't been a bad time for 20 fucking years? When somebody comes through and says what we got to do is overheat everything, make as much money as we can, and it'll be great. What he's not telling you is, oh, by the way, you're going to lose everything at the end of it. It will destroy it, and it will ruin it, and everybody will walk away, and we won't make no money. That's Vince fucking McMahon. That is his fucking Cornette. That's Vince fucking Russo. Again, they're gimmicking and selling products. I ain't. Okay? That's what they do for a living, not what I do. Alright? So, here we go to Russo. Russo can claim whatever he wants. All he did was overheat the territory with degenerate horseshit and collapse the industry. Not him by himself. That's unfair. You get a bunch of dumbasses together and guess what happens? And they'll always say, oh man, I had so much fun in the ring with that guy. And you're like, okay, but you just destroyed the fucking whole industry. You just wiped out Frito-Lay. Customers don't want anything to do with you anymore. You're garbage. But it's a win, right? Because you did it that one time. And you made $20,000. Wow, goddamn geniuses out in wrestling, huh? The pet rock genius motherfuckers of wrestling. It's like the short-sighted, memory loss, goldfish brain shit. Okay? But on the other side is the people that have to do the work and the shit every day that keep it rolling, and they are not the ones making the money. That's the shame of it. Okay? Not the real money. Alright? The real money is always wasted on dumb fucks like Vince McMahon and the others. Oh, yeah, I know. He made you $20, so he's a genius. Well, he's also going to go do some prison time for all kinds of illegal shit that you knew about, but you needed to suck his dick to make $20 under the bridge, so I guess we're going to act like that never happened, huh? Hitler wasn't a bad guy. I mean, I did good during the war. I mean, now that he's gone, it's a bad deal. Yeah, it's a bad deal. That's the shit out of what I hear out of Cornette and all these fucking other idiots. The ones I don't hear it out of is Matt Hardy and Ryback. That's the only two I'm aware of. They're like, yeah, no, he's a piece of shit, and it's fucked. All of this is fucked. Not Matt Hardy per se saying that, but explaining the business, and it irritates people. It just irritates people because, I mean, what did you think your customers going? You don't have any customers. You're eating on your own arm now. You're fucked. I know you people think you're fucking goddamn geniuses of some type. I don't mean Matt Hardy. And actually, I don't mean talent in general. You got the starry-eyed guys that think, oh, I'm going to bring this motherfucker back. Yeah, you're not. You ain't the one, son, to do that shit. Okay? You don't have the power of a continent or any of that shit behind you. You just got a couple of crooked judges and shit. That's about all you got. Again, not impressed. Not impressed. But again, it's peaks and troughs. You're in a long, dry fucking summer for wrestling. Alright? Nobody is interested out here outside some marks. It's popular. And for whatever reason, I make the distinction of these YouTube morons that, quote, talk about wrestling, unquote. These motherfuckers just regurgitate whatever they hear, and they don't give a fuck about wrestling either. They're just doing it for views and money. Money. They have no real impact on wrestling, never did. They're not paying marks. The free shit on YouTube is not going to be converted to paying marks. You'll get some. 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. What are the conversion rates, Matt Hardy? I mean, I'm not knocking Matt Hardy. I'm saying, you want real discussion on business? Let's have a real discussion, because you're at the point you're either going to have a real discussion, or you're fucked. You're not going to make any money. You'll claim you did with 200 people. Not again, I'm not talking about Matt Hardy on this one. I'm talking about people in general. These internet marks are not making you money. It is true, as Matt Hardy says, internet marks, even the assholes, get eyes on the prize and may possibly be converted. That is true. Absolutely. You're going to have to get the casuals in the door. That's why I don't disagree with Matt Hardy on real business shit. You do not hear from Jim Cornette real business shit. You hear shit about, oh, it's that Matt fucking Hardy. Oh, it's that whatever. That's his gimmick. Nothing Jim Cornette ever did will ever bring wrestling back. You know how I know that? He was one of them that helped collapse wrestling. What the fuck would I listen to him for on it? Now, if wrestling was going a little bit hotter than what it was, yes, Jim Cornette would be worth it. He's not a builder or he's not a builder or anything along those lines. He's your company middle management man. He's not the guy to be asking about, well, how do I open this territory up? You know, these guys don't speak English. How do I get them interested? No, that's not Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette works great within an environment that is normal to his average everyday stuff. I'll bet you think the CIA and others don't have discussions on this shit. I bet you don't. What the fuck do you think the CIA does? NSA, FBI, blah, 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 blah. Shit that you fucking geniuses just don't listen to because you know everything. Because there was this one time in Memphis, there was 20 people rioting and threw a brick. Wow, man, bad motherfuckers. Y'all are some bad motherfuckers right there. I'm just saying. I was like, what? Okay, so they burnt the circus tent down, and I'm supposed to be impressed. Yeah, no, I ain't. I've seen way, way, way bigger shit than that. Anyway, so again, you're in an era where they overheated everything way the fuck back not in the late 90s, and that's it. That was the end of it. It went degenerate. Thanks, Vince Russo. You went degenerate. It collapsed the fucking industry. Go ahead and take credit for that, but you're not. Your other writers, blah, 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 blah. It was once said that Bischoff, and this is probably the most fair thing, Bischoff had so much stuff going on, he could not handle it all. And I just had a discussion with somebody on this as well, because when you get into the actual real world guys, people, wrestling marks, of running city, county, and state government corporations, you start to become so unmanageable and so inefficient, it collapses its own industry. People don't want nothing to do with it. Okay? People are not knocking down the doors to go get the job. It's the job that you take because there are no other jobs, which is what pro wrestling is. That's going to hurt some people's feelings. It doesn't have anything to do with your talent. What I'm telling you is the state of the industry right now is directly because of these jerk-offs that claim they know everything about wrestling. Did I or did I not over the past year just disprove all of them in public? Again, did I or did I not do that? Now go ahead in the comment section and tell me how I was wrong, because I was not. And I'm not going to be on that. Okay? So, why would you listen to them, motherfuckers? When they will lie and defraud you. They will fuck you, the customer. But, well, to be fair, at least some of them will tell you that they're going to fuck you. I'm going to fuck you out of your money. You're not going to get your money's worth, said Muhammad Ali in Inoki during the boxing wrestling match. which was the biggest troll, probably one of the biggest trolls in history, because I don't believe any of that backstory of the shit supposedly. No, they totally did that shit on purpose. They did that shit on purpose, and they ruined it. Now that I do believe Muhammad Ali would totally sit down and go, let's fucking destroy this forever. And you're like, you got close, because the only thing left now, and we're going to get to this on Matt Hardy. Well, we need Jake and Logan Paul. No, I know why Matt Hardy and others say that. Okay, both of those kids are fucking morons. They have the FBI investigating them. I don't know how dumb you motherfuckers are. Okay, but how do you not understand the real world? Okay, I got to point this out. If you think dragging that piece of shit into the industry to just fucking help wipe it out because the underage kids that are not paying marks watch him, how dumb are you? Now, I'm going to throw all of that to Napoleon Bonaparte, who already covered this shit. You people are fucking morons. You are hiring people that are huge investment risks. And the stockholders ought to sit back and go, it's time to change heads, motherfucker. We're getting you out of here whether you own this fucking company or not. And that is what people need to do, because they will destroy the fucking industry with these people. Now, there is something to be said for what I just said. Matt Hardy is smarter than me on the politics. I can guarantee you he is. He's seen some shit I ain't never going to see. And my only assumption is he can see how this is going. If that's true, and I think it is, because Matt Hardy is not dumb. And if Ryback hadn't said nothing else about it, and I was thinking, okay, I think I see what's going on here. And you'll say, Slappy, what the fuck does this have to do with anything in the real? It doesn't have much of an impact, wrestling doesn't. It can have a direct impact in other areas. Everything from military recruiting to wars. It's media, it's Hollywood, it's the same exact shit. It can have a direct impact on other industries and businesses, okay? Why do you think it somehow operates differently from the United States corporation or whatever state corporation you're in? Remember that I am making the fucked up assumption, it's a stupid assumption, but I'm making the stupid assumption that there are other people in the world that understand basic business shit on multiple levels. And so they would understand parts of the value of wrestling. I didn't say WWE. Again, you don't need WWE. Never did. Didn't need it before, don't need it after. It's what the fuck? Just build an empty house, throw hobos in it, and call it pro wrestling. That's all Vince McMahon did. And then beat, shoot, fuck over, rob, thieve, steal to get where he's at from all the regional territories. So I don't know what exactly you think is great about fucking Vince McMahon. So I'm not impressed. I am impressed with what, the 5 years? No. Take it back. 10 years of Hulk Hogan. The 10 years of Hulk Hogan and him. Andre the Giant and him. You know, that shit. The actual powerhouse, the media powerhouse. And there were other, like I said, there were other people. Ryback is going to be the other one that beat the shit out of Vince and said, go fuck yourself. You are not all powerful. Let me show you how that turned out. Now, I disagree with Ryback on certain other things, but let's point out, I was the one that called this shit. So was Ryback. So, we can agree to disagree on certain points. I mean, he's going to make his money. I don't make money off of that shit. And I'm not a fucking mark either. When I go watch these videos, I don't go watch it as a fucking mark. I sit in the nosebleeds and go, okay, let's see what kind of psychological shit he's going to bullshit today. You know, he's got to move product here, got to move product there. How you going to do it? How ham-fisted and bad is it going to be? At least with Cornette, you know it's coming, but Cornette's going to do it in style. So you're like, okay, he's getting ready to fuck me with a product. All right, how are we going to do it? And then you go, okay, that's fucking pretty good. Brian Last and Jim Cornette's pretty fucking good. I can allow that. Right? How you going to do it? What do you really think Hollywood people and all these other business corporations, Twitter, fucking take your pick, you really think they just sit around like you going, dur, 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 dur. Vince McMahon, my buddy, he fought a guy in a square ring one time for real. No, you stupid fuck. What is the degradation, the downgrade in humanity to get this far, right? Everybody believes wrestling. No, nobody believed fucking wrestling was real. You paid shills to sit in the audience to start riots. Don't give me that fucking shit. I ain't 3 years old. Alright? I do absolutely believe Roddy Piper when he says, no, those Mexicans were mad and they stabbed me. Yes, I believe that shit. I do believe that shit. I do believe when Cornette says I had to beat the fuck out of people to get out of that ring. It's like, yep, that's real. I mean, didn't have to actually pay nobody to sit in there and get some of the shit started. Anyway, so in versions of psychological operations do understand the KGB, and the others automatically understand this. Mossad, French, German, whatever, doesn't give a fuck. They're directly used on influence operations inside the United States that look exactly like that. That is the interesting part of wrestling to me. The other interesting part is when Matt Hardy does YouTube movies, episodes. He used to during the pandemic, and fights a rowboat. That's fucking great, man. That rate's way up there for me. Because you see a guy going, how do I make money? How do I be creative? How do I add my kids into it? How do I add my wife, the gardener? How do I make a little storyline and have fun with that? You know, how do I make a little bit of money? You know what I mean? How do I promote? And you're like, now there's a business owner I like. How do I innovate? And you're going, well, fuck yeah, Matt Hardy. Fuck yeah. I'm all right with that. So anyway, the state of wrestling is, it's garbage. The only reason I did this video is because I like Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy had a discussion about the state of current wrestling. Let's be clear. I ain't a wrestler. I don't run wrestling promotions. I'm also not a fucking idiot. Okay? So, it's dead, but I cannot give you the details about back office shit and stuff because I'm not part of it. I'm not in it. Thank God. If I was, I'd be firing motherfuckers left and right, bouncing them out on piss test and everything else. And I wouldn't have a wrestling company now, would I? And there's something to be said for, I had to open the county barn to run a wrestling ring, and the only people that showed up were drunks and dopeheads. So the crowd wanted to fight, and so I gave it to them. Okay? I hate to tell you, that's the world too. You sold the tickets and you got to make it work. And the people are waiting on you to do it tomorrow too. And then the day after that, and day after that, you got to keep going. If you keep going, you end up like Vince, you're going to do fucking prison. Maybe. I actually doubt he will do prison time. But he's sure going to lose some money on this shit. Alright? And he's not going to have control of that company, and probably will not have control of anything else. And I would never do business with Vince McMahon, if that tells you anything. I mean, of course Donald Trump would, because why not do illegal shit and get caught doing it? He probably won't get, prosecuted for the shit. So, anyway. When you look at some of the wrestlers and you go, hey, man, that's a good deal. It's the independent guys. It's like, hey, independent guy, that's pretty cool. Keep at it. You know what I mean? Because they're trying. They're trying to make their fucking money. They were kids at one time watching fucking Hulk Hogan doing what the TV told them to do and wrestling. And they just like wrestling. Ultimate Warrior, so on and so forth, right? And you go, well, go to it, man. If you're any good, I'm sure people will fucking pay you to see you. I get it. I'm not knocking that. It's just this other shit. It's like, no, it's time to go ahead and stop that shit. And it's just a shame that it's evident people don't do any type of good business practices anymore. And there's no morality. I mean, I don't know what fucking compass of morality Vince McMahon ever used except what, a fucking rock that he threw in a pond to try to make $20. This is what the fuck? He acts like a fucking inmate most of the time. The shit that he does is like, no, that's inmate behavior, motherfucker. God damn, it's like he hung around with nothing but fucking multiple murderers and prisoners, which in the wrestling world he probably did. Okay, so what can you get out of it? For me, it's educational on this is how I ran my correct business and didn't fuck anyone over by Matt Hardy, CEO. And you're like, yay, that's pretty good. There's how I was Ryback and fought the man and beat the man and I won. And now I'm going to go do my own stuff. It's like, yay, okay. Different stuff like that. You're like, good, that's a pretty good deal. You know what I mean? That's pretty nice. Because, like I said, people, they focus on the wrong weird shit, as always. And it's like, you do know you could, well, how about you go find a nice guy to go give $20 to? Go give your money to fucking Matt Hardy and say, Matt Hardy, go do a YouTube video. Right? Don't care, fight a rowboat. Don't care, fight a stuffed animal. Be funny. Do something. Right? Because I hate to tell you, wrestling ain't nothing but playing with fucking action figures anyway. Nothing Jim Cornette says is ever going to bring wrestling back because it's just a blank slate, a blank canvas anyway. Give me a break, Jim. You know better than that shit. But that's his gimmick, and his gimmick makes you money. Okay, I guess we agree on that one. Make your money, have a good time. So, anyway, not much else to it other than, hey, psychological operation, psychotronics, if you will, and how it applies to you in the daily with, oddly enough, wrestling influence. Not WWE influence, though it does have some, but only to the people that want to buy the shit and make money off of it. Not me, not the rest of the world. The rest of the real world don't give a fuck about it. Okay? If you're going to panhandle products, you should probably be better at it. And if you're not better at it, then that's your fault. Okay? So when people say, well, Slappy, why didn't you make money off of your YouTube? Because I'm a fucking idiot and I don't want to do it. Okay? That's not the point of me being out here. So, I'm not the guy you should ask about making money. No. I can be a guy you can ask about how do I get more revenue from the criminals. I can ask, yeah, we can do that. But, no, I am not the guy that you should ask about how do I turn my pro wrestling enterprise to make more money. Okay? So there you go. Anyway, it's the same thing as if you were watching 50 mayors running for mayor office, 50 candidates running for mayor office, and all of them are telling you they're the best mayor or hate that other guy. Or it's the same fucking shit. That's wrestling. Right? That's just wrestling. And if people aren't interested in the basic bullshit, it's because it's moved on. Peaks and troughs. You're in the trough. The peak will come back. How do you deal with the trough to shorten the time of the trough? How do you do that? Well, one way is just go ahead and intentionally detonate. Alright, just hit the switch and detonate. I know some of you just don't understand that basic concept, but it's tons of other businesses have done that. You intentionally wipe out your own industry so it can rebuild. Okay? Again, people don't want it if they can see it all day long every day, and marks don't make money. Marks don't bring in casuals. They just don't. They don't. It's Matt Hardy running around in a suit, in a ring that'll bring in your casual, or seeing him on YouTube do something. There you go. But directly pandering only to marks, that's a waste of time. I mean, not for the guys doing it because they make money on it. For me, it's a waste of time. I don't want to hear it. I understand why they're doing it, yes, the wrestlers. And I understand why the marks are doing it, yes. And I understand why prostitutes are popular. I understand why Jeff Epstein existed. I understand. Okay. So there's a lot of shit I understand. I'm just going to point out none of it applies to me because I'm not the one doing it. You know what I mean? So, there you go. I don't know what the point of this was other than to say business is good for certain other businesses. All right? Wrestling business is bad for wrestlers at the moment. Okay? There's nothing you can really do about it. You can attempt to outlast the trough long enough so you can build someone that might bring it back out. Okay? In a different way. I've said pop-ups. I said this. God, wrestlers are fucking morons. WWE is just fucking stupid. Pop-ups, baby. Pop-up wrestling. You just... God, it's like they can't understand basic pet rock shit. Pet rock theory or any of that theory. It's just so weird. And you say, hey, man, listen, have you ever thought, oh, no, man, I know what I'm doing. I'm sticking with the $20 I'm making. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Move on to that. Hey, man, try this. Sell yourself to motherfuckers that are accountants. And you're like, well, I'm a pro wrestler. How do I talk about the business, you fucking moron? Then you're going to have this guy that's working for a Fortune 500 go, hey, Ryback, what would you do if... And Ryback says, give me $500 and I'll tell you. Ah, there you go. I'm just saying. Whereas Jim Cornette's panhandling a fucking lawyer, Stephen P. News or what, he's panhandling lawyer shit. And you're like, God damn it. I don't blame him for doing it. I'm just saying, yeah, fucking ambulance chasers, right? Still genius. I mean, it still is genius. Oh, my personal lawyer will help you out. No, he's going to fuck all the customers. He's going to overcharge the motherfuckers because they're idiots that think wrestling's real. You know what I mean? Come on, Jim. What are you doing? No. Anyway, product is product, but if in order, and this is something, again, I almost forgot. Matt Hardy was very clear about this. You have to cross your streams, Ghostbusters. You have to cross your streams. You'll say, I don't understand what that means. Diversification, friends. It means Matt Hardy's got to cross into other areas to bring casuals in. Only Hulk Hogan, Rowdy Roddy, and a couple of the Macho Man, Randy Savage with those fucking Slim Jim commercials. There wasn't a kid one running around at that time that did not know those Slim Jim commercials. Okay? Agreed. This is a different era. Okay? Kids do it differently now. They're media and stuff. But the concept of diversification is something that fucking corporations are morons about. They think diversification is taking your money away from you and dumping it in risky shit, losing it all, and then telling you what the fucking, you're an idiot. But you should do it again. You should gamble again with them. Alright, that's WWE right now. And I'm going to tell you something. I know, this is how I know wrestling died a long time ago. WWE went public. You don't go public because you're successful. This is going to blow your fucking mind. That's a death knell for most of them. Most corporations when they do that shit. WWE went public so Vince could dump the risk on a dying industry on someone else. That someone else was called dumb fuck investors. Hedge funds. Shit like that. That's what that was about. But I'll bet you'll tell me, oh, he's worth a bit. No, he's not. Show me his bank accounts, how much liquid cash he's got. Then we'll have a discussion about how rich he really is. He ain't a fucking billionaire. You mean the people that own his shit right now? They're billionaires. And that company ain't worth nothing because I wouldn't buy it for $20 fucking in a pack of Camel Wides. I wouldn't own that shit. No, you're fucking crazy. I don't. Yeah, fuck you. There ain't nothing in there worth fucking buying or keeping. It's how you view it, kids. It's how you view it. And what you can do with it when you do view it in all the different ways you want to view it. Anyway, it's just business. Because I had this discussion with other people this week. Actual other humans. I don't know if you know. I know a couple. And it was just like, you could see this coming. I told you so. You know, this is coming. Wrestling's dead. I did some comments on it. I'm sure it offended people. I don't give a fuck. I'm not a mark. It's business. Don't be mad because a fucking customer walked in the door and said, you suck. If it's a customer being an asshole just to be an asshole, yeah. I don't exist to produce a product only you want. Go get the fuck out of here. You're banned. It's my fucking business. You understand? It's my fucking Walmart. I put the shit on the shelves that I want to put on. And you come in hollering and screaming, I liked Ric Flair back in the 70s, and that's the only thing. Now, get the fuck out of here. It's my business. It ain't yours. I didn't say I didn't like Ric Flair. I'm just saying. You understand? So, that's what the internet is, and the smartest thing you can do is just, I don't know, throw a nickel at them and say, look, a shiny nickel. Go away, crow. And they'll fly away with the nickel. I mean, they're not exactly very smart. They just exist to bitch and moan about shit they have no clue about. They're deficient in the brain anyway. So, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, crossovers work, but not with Logan Paul and shit like that. I'll make you a bet, Matt Hardy, Logan Paul will be worse for the business than he is better for it. Matt Hardy will say something, but he will not say what he actually thinks on that, and I'm almost dead certain I know exactly what he thinks on that. I could be wrong. I could deadly be wrong. I know Ryback. Ryback will say whatever I love that guy. Yeah, no you don't, motherfucker. What are you, dumb? The guy's fucking terrible for everything, including business. You don't go out and say, yeah, you know, the one the FBI is looking at, right? The one that's going to catch charges. You don't go say, that's the guy we want. No. Unless you're just wanting his whole downfall to be televised so you can make money off of it. In which case, I might be interested in that. Somebody has a brain today, huh? And the other thing is, always wish the enemy of your enemy on your enemy. Feel free for it. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah, Logan Paul's the best fucking thing since wrestling. WWE, make sure to hire him. In fact, hire 4 of him. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? I am not risk averse, but goddamn, can you pick someone a little more sketchy that's probably committed a murder, but you're not sure? Nope, we're doing Logan Paul or Jake Paul, whichever the one. I don't know. They're interchangeable shitheads, if you ask me. So, what the fuck? Well, I couldn't find a more garbage human closer. And you're like, for fuck's sake, man. True diversification is something along the lines of, and I'm surprised Matt Hardy hadn't done this. I don't know what position or what contract he's got with AEW. But Danhausen. Fucking Danhausen. Love that fucking dude. You know why? Always kayfabes. Always. Diversified as shit. Comic books. Action figures. He's in there. He's having a good time doing it. He's doing his matches and other stuff. He does the witch doctor shit, which I think is hilarious. Alright? Personally, I think it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, I'm just saying there's other stuff I want to say, but I ain't going to say it. I think it's fucking great because he translates. He easily translates into the B-movie gender, and your drive-in show stuff because of Joe Bob Briggs and the other people. I mean, he easily translates that into a TV host. The Elvira thing, the Joe Bob, and it's like, okay, good. Now, it's a small niche. That is a small market, but I think Danhausen would do great at it. Okay? I really do. Him doing Danhausen, doing movie reviews would be interesting. Okay? He doesn't have the time for that. Plus, that wouldn't make him the money that he would need. That'd be screwing around. That would be entering into another arena along those lines, to make some headway. Undiscovered country, right? New territory, right? You're striking out for the territories. You're going to see what you can do. Nothing wrong with that. If you follow the stale and failed formula, you end up like Vince, right? And all you do is jail time, prison time, go broke, right? How many people do you know that did that? A shitload? Well, then that should tell you something about the wrestling industry. Just because you're making $20, 50 guys are making negative 20. I'm not impressed. I'm not. I do think some of the creative stuff could have been averted had they got away from the absolute degenerate shit and went with something like what Disco Inferno says on the one-off throwaway shit that he thought it was funny, but it can still translate to today, maybe not even in wrestling. You know what I mean? Some of the ideas that he had. And it's like, that's a shame. But he's got to make his money as a wrestler, as a wrestling trainer, I think is what he is. I don't know. My point is, I know he struck out into the political land. I don't know how well that's going. It did not look to be going that well the last time I checked. Glenn gets under people's fucking their skin and on their nerves, and they're just like, go fuck yourself, Glenn. You know what I mean? They usually just insult him, which I don't understand that shit. It's like, I always thought he was hilarious. I always did. It's like, wait, you're getting mad at a guy playing a character. Yes. Well, you know that he's doing that to make you bitch at him so he can say, hey, look, everybody, give me more attention because this guy's being mad at me about that. The fuck? How did you not know that? How did you not know, whatever. And people just don't think about it. They get online. They're like, fuck you, Glenn Gilberti. So I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. Anyway, whatever. My point was, he had some ideas that, or I thought would have easily translated. Something Ryback has done that I thought was also hilarious. Him playing himself in the video games. And having other viewers add him on Xbox or whatever the fucking the games are, and playing against him. And Ryback's being an ass. I told him, dude, pick Disco Inferno and play as Disco Inferno. Just so you can catch some fucking heat, fake, whatever, off of Glenn. Because y'all work well together as far as that goes. So come on. Tell me that you couldn't get a little something out. A little bump. It doesn't mean much. But you know what I mean. I never did like Disco's leg drop. Shit like that. Anyway, there's tons of things people can do. They don't do it. I understand why they don't do it. They got other shit to do. Or they see it as I have to do it this one way, and you're going, oh, okay, there's other ways, right? And it's even easier. You ain't even got to go get beat up. There's other ways of doing that. And they'll correctly state, well, where's the money? Well, if you're going to be short-sighted, go fuck yourself. That's why someone else will make money and you won't on this same thing. Okay? That's real too. And you try to go, okay, if you don't want to adapt, then go ahead and die, dinosaur. I mean, we're not talking and every 10 years it adapts. No, you're talking every year it adapts. Come on, get your shit together, kids. The pandemic starts, Matt Hardy's doing videos. He's having a great time, keeping his face out there, promoting, bing, bang, boom, boom, boom. Money is made. Super simple system. Everybody else, I'll do a podcast and put the least amount of effort into it with the worst audio equipment. Wow. Yeah, gee, I wonder why nobody's beating your door down. Right? The one thing can be truly said for Jim Cornette is he's always going to give you a show. It doesn't mean you're going to like it. He's always going to give it to you. Probably with some vinegar and salt. I mean, so there's going to be parts where you're like, fuck that piece of shit, Jim. And it's like, well, Jim did tell you what he was going to do. He's not shy about telling you. He's going to fuck you. Anyway. So, all I can say is, yes, Matt Hardy is right when he tells people, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That would include me. With the exception of, I get to say, hey, no, hold on some of this shit, you might be bullshitting them, you ain't gonna bullshit me. Alright. Or I'll allow that one, I'll allow you to bullshit me on that little thing, but you ain't gonna bullshit me on that. Right, so on and so forth. Anyway, and the same thing with Cornette. And then you go, how would I just... You'd say it along the lines of anything else, because this is a fucking business and they're bullshit artists. All right, super simple system. I'm a potential customer. They're either going to upsell me or they're going to tell everyone around them what a piece of shit I am, how they need to hate me so they can go make money off of other people that hate me. So it's like, it's business. It's just business. So I understand you're not supposed to talk about certain things of the business, but you do understand wrestlers are not why the wrestling industry succeeds, right? It's the people in the offices that are dodging lawsuits and all this other shit, dodging taxes. That's where you succeed. You see nothing but companies come and go that's got 50 Jim Cornettes that know everything in them, and they collapse. I'm just pointing this out. Okay? Same with Russo and them. You get 50 Jim Russo, or Vince Russos, and collapses the shit out. It's like, well, then obviously you weren't doing it the right way, were you? You weren't doing it. That doesn't mean Russo's not wrong on certain things. It's just, okay. Anyway, you got an hour out of me. I was just wasting the last 30 minutes trying to fill up airtime. Right? I was trying to sell product, throw my ad revenue in there. It's, hey, man, go buy my Gonzo pecker powder that makes the top of your head swell up like a cone head. Because that was on TV a minute ago. I was like, what the fuck, cone heads? I haven't seen them in a while. Anyway, so I guess that would be all of wrestling, is just cone heads walking around eating money and cocaine and be like, I don't know why the business failed. Can anybody tell me why? And it's like, really? You do not know why? Well, it wasn't Vince, though, was it? No, it wasn't Vince. Vince didn't call it. He's a great guy. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Right? Get the fuck out of here. What is it with you people? Like brain damaged. Anyway, business good for some, business bad for others in that area, because it's in a wrestling depression, kiddos. And it's not going to get better, I don't see it getting better at all. Your artificial GDP bullshit is just not going to fly, or it'll fly for a little bit for a couple of rubes. I mean, as a PR stunt, but it doesn't change any of the business. Okay? Your one or two ideas are not going to change the business. It's not going to bring it back from the dead. Only time can do that, and you can shorten the time by hitting the button and detonating it and letting it rebuild naturally as best you can. Because that's how that works. You can only force so much shit. That's why none of the wrestlers are interesting now. I don't mean the wrestlers don't have talent. Okay? I'm not saying that. You're in the wrong time, in the wrong era, the wrong company, the wrong storyline that nobody gives a shit about anyway. It's all dead, man. It was dead 20 years ago. Like I said. The money just keeps going down and draining out. Like I said, I can go see some of the people that I know personally that get better views. Okay? More views than WWE shit. They get more people to watch their video. And they're small channels. This is what I meant. They're small channels. They get more people watching them. And people that I like, by the way, that I know and like. than Vince McMahon, the billionaire, in the super $100 billion company. These guys are outdoing them. Does that not say something to you about the state of the wrestling business? I'm just pointing that out. I mean, people find other forms of entertainment and they go do that. Again, if you can't adapt, that's on you. That's not on everybody else. You don't get to blame the customer. When the customer is in your building fucking shit up, yes, blame the customer. But if you can't understand your own business or humans in general, just don't worry about it. You're just going to end up like these other dead broke fucking crackhead wrestlers that died of a heart attack at 50 fucking years old that weren't that important when they were doing it and weren't known. I mean, if that's what we're going to talk about, how many people know me, I'm so important. Yeah, you're not. Trust me. You're not. There are dudes that you will never know their names of doing shit that will blow your mind that nobody's ever going to talk about ever. And they accomplish more than you fucking people ever did in your entire careers. And they can do that in a week in a foreign country. So, again, let me stress, you don't impress me with your horse shit, okay? You do impress me when your horse shit is good, though. There you go. So, that's it, kids. All I can tell you is, don't drink and drive. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Vote for Disco Inferno for Commissioner of Creative. Yeah, let's make that an office. And vote for Matt Hardy to be CEO. And vote for Ryback to be Minister Plenipotentiary of Roads. Roads and Bridges. That's actually on purpose that I said that, but it was also being a smartass. All right, so there you go. Business is business. Business is good. It's just not good for shitty businesses. They got to go down in flames. Burn. Then they get rebuilt by people that'll possibly give a shit. And then the talent gets treated better. Everybody makes their money. It's not a lot of great money, but it's more than nothing. Okay? There you go. And before I forget, Disco Inferno said something that I thought was interesting, which is pro wrestlers going under SAG. All right, Screen Actors Guild. And I thought, that's interesting as an idea. That is actually completely valid idea. I mean, you don't have to have your own wrestling union when you've got SAG. So you would go under SAG, and I'm assuming they would have their own slightly different charter stuff, but you get the point, right? Right. That's an interesting idea. That is something that should be discussed. Because you're in an area that you don't have bargaining power. The only power, hey, come to think of it, does it sound like the dog is against unions? Are you a scab? Hey, you a scab worker? It's okay, I'm a scab. What does it fucking matter? So, I guess that's that, because the dog says it's time to tell you to go get fucked, go spend your money, your time elsewhere. I stole your hour, stole it away from you like Jim Cornette. You will not get it back. That's how I know I'm awesome. So, or not, whatever, don't matter.